What inspired me to launch my company was actually an accident. I lost a job abruptly as an IT director of a private equity firm because the firm folded. And I decided in the meantime, while I was looking for another job, I would fix computers in my kitchen. And that resulted in sort of a quick growing business from my kitchen that evolved into a small office space, that evolved into a retail space, and then evolved into the company we are today. The biggest surprise for me in running my own business has been realizing how much I don't know. So I went to school, I've studied film and creative writing. I worked in the entertainment industry. I was always very tech savvy growing up, but I never really run a business. And as a business owner, it's my responsibility to manage every single aspect of the business in one way or another. Fortunately, as we've grown, we've had people that have taken over responsibility of particular roles, but at the end of the day, the buck stops with me. So learning how to read P&L and balance sheets, learning how to manage employees and manage customer expectation, learning how to market and sell myself, my business. All of those were skills that I probably had 2% of an understanding of, and growing a business requires you to learn while you go. So we learned by a lot of mistake making, and as well as obviously mentors and coaches that have helped me kind of learn how to do things in my business. Culture has impacted my company because my business by nature is a people business. It's people in terms of my team, which is executing on the services that we're delivering, as well as my clients who are people who are leveraging technology and need to use it every day. So having quality and dynamic company culture within my business keeps people motivated, keeps people hungry to learn more and grow in their individual fields. And also kind of the nature of my business is we're in the business of fixing bad news. So nobody's calling my office telling us how wonderful we are because we baked them the most delicious cake. They're calling us complaining about why their network isn't working or they can't log into their email. So you're constantly getting kind of punched in the gut, for lack of a better term. And it's fine, that's the nature of this business. And our job is to make sure that we resolve those problems as quickly as possible, as friendly as possible, and ultimately make sure that they don't happen again. So our company culture is driven a lot by outside activities that help our employees, reverse the effects of being here sometimes. And at the same time, it keeps people upbeat when they're in the office. The greatest pitfall in culture shift is it's a marathon, not a sprint. Making small incremental improvements in your company culture has an exponential effect over time, in the same way that it could in a negative way. The ROI on company culture is not a numerical value. It's an intangible. I recognize fully that my business is driven by people, and those people have families, and those people have lives and dreams and aspirations for themselves. So for me to be able to see them succeed in an environment that they are challenged in and at the same time excited to be a part is my ROI. Our balance on skill set versus culture is probably 70 to 80% culture and 20 to 30% skill set. I always say that I can teach anybody to fix computers, but I can't teach people to be nice. That's something that your parents taught you or whoever raised you taught you. So we've implemented a lot of systems in our hiring process to assess people's soft skills and their personality and kind of gauge even their responses in an interview and how they behave in an interview to determine if they're the type of person that matches the type of people that we are. Our company culture is around being hardworking. It's around being resilient. It's about being demanding of quality work every single time. The main resource that I utilize in making decisions in my business are mentors. So I am a strong believer in learning from other people's mistakes and also learning from other people's experiences. So during that process and during other decisions that I've had, important decisions, good and bad in my business, I've spoken to members of my family, other business owners that I'm friends and colleagues with, other people in my industry. I know a number of people who are also wildly successful, and getting their opinion from a 10,000 foot view is also priceless. So that's been the number one resource, has been really getting feedback from other entrepreneurs, other business owners on how they handle those types of situations. There's definitely a couple things that I would do differently if I started my business today. The first would be I would spend more time planning and building a system for my business rather than just going out and executing upon the service that we deliver. We've since created those systems, but after quite a lot of fumbling and lack of consistency in our service delivery. Another thing I would definitely do differently if I was starting a business, not necessarily this business, is research a lot of different types of businesses. Something that I've certainly learned is how valuation differs among businesses of different types. So a software company might sell for a multiple of revenue, where a business like mine might sell for a multiple of EBITDA. It's if you are capable of building a software business, it's probably better than building a service or a product-based business. I would certainly also invest more time in training people early in my business. I think I lost some headway that I could have had if I had better trained people. But again, it kind of goes back to the learn while you're doing, and I couldn't keep everything up at the same time. So fortunately, again, all those things are things that have resolved themselves over time, but I probably would have been further ahead now had I been a little bit more careful in the beginning. What concerns me about my company's growth is scaling and growing management teams. So my business is at that point where we're delivering on the services that we've promised to our customers, but it's growing beyond the point where I can have a finger on everything. And so as I start to slowly build out a service management role, a sales management role, a team lead role, those people have to take responsibility of things that I'm used to being in control of, and very happy to relinquish control once I'm really comfortable that they're going to deliver the same level of experience to our customers that I'm doing or that we've previously done. But I think that's not a fear, that's more of a challenge to me. I think that's the nature of owning a business. I got involved with United Way initially because I wanted a vehicle to give back to the community that was turnkey, that was fun, that was exciting, and that represented moral values that are important to me. And this last stage in taking on the co-chair role for Small Business United is to help United Way grow its presence within small businesses in South Florida, which are obviously widely prevalent, and I'm really excited to take on that challenge. The last book I read is Principles by Ray Dalio. Part of the mentoring personality that I have is now translating into book-based or audiobook-based mentoring by people that may not be, Ray Dalio is not necessarily accessible to me, but this book in which he describes principles on how he's made decisions in life, how he's made decisions for his family, and how he's made his decisions in business was a really eye-opener in gauging risk and gauging reward and deciding one thing versus another, how to drop something that's completely not important, and recognizing that quickly. I definitely, in some cases, have decision fatigue, so the book actually helped me a lot in working through that. Something that my staff or my vendors might not know about me is I had a previous career in the film business. I worked, my degree is actually in film production. I worked here in South Florida, working on productions like Bad Boys 2 and the Dexter pilot, Red Line, number of other small television shows, and then I worked in LA for a couple years, working at a large talent agency, working in the literary department. It was definitely a really fun and exciting part of my life, one I hope to come back to in the future, but it's definitely something that got sidelined for starting and growing my own business.